and welcome to another episode of Comprehending Consciousness. My name is Allie with A. Marie Speaks, and I created this series initially to help people who are newly waking up, or those of us who are maybe new to the conscious collective community, the new age kind of ascension people. Mostly because I've seen a lot of distortion and confusions that are being presented in the collective, and I wanted to offer quick, straight to the point videos on just a single topic, phrase, or word that's really kind of been overused and manipulated in the mainstream. Hoping to offer clarity to people, see things in a different way, to really kind of break out of stigmas and these kind of preconceptions, these boxes they jam meanings into. And so, yeah, like I said, this is episode 38, or did I say that? I'm not quite positive. So if you're new here, or if you're not new to my channel and just maybe you are newer to watching my videos, I haven't put out one of these in quite a while. I used to do it a lot more regularly, and it was really a forefront project when I started my channel. However, obviously my series have kind of shifted and changed, and my focus has really been on metaphysical topics and energetics right now, in the present moment. So kind of shifting gears and refocusing to bring in older topic here of comprehending consciousness, and to talk about this concept of enlightenment and what that can really mean. Like I said, I choose these topics and I create these videos and this series in order to help with understanding the great variety of meanings available when we have a single term, and how important it is that we can kind of all get on the same page about all of the meanings. You know, not that we have to pigeonhole ourselves in and say, you know, this is exactly what this means. But to get on the same page with everyone can mean just to all of us seeing the wide variety of meanings and respecting them all, and taking them into account when we talk about them, when we build systems around them, you know, when we have interactions and exchanges through those situations. That's my hope with this series. It's my hope with the directionality of ascension and humanity, that we'll get there one day. But for now, and for this video here, I am going to just focus on this topic of enlightenment. Quickly, for anybody who, like I said, is new, or maybe just not seen any of my other ones, this is number 38. So, I mean, there's a bunch of other videos. They're on a playlist. I think I did a BitChute playlist as well, but I know I have a YouTube one. BitChute makes playlists really annoying to create. And so my channel is not as well organized on BitChute as it is on YouTube. But I also don't have everything available on both channels either. So it's really geared towards different quality of viewers on the different platforms. So you might find a variety of different videos on either channel. Similarly, some of them do cross, and I have series of same on both channels. A little confusing. But yeah, so if you're interested in other topics, if you want to hear my own take on these really well-used, out there words, you know, like woke, ascension, consciousness, sovereignty, red pill, matrix, all of these kind of things that we hear, this jargon out there that's really, you know, becoming more and more prevalent. Yeah, you can check that out on your own time. But for today, let's jump right into enlightenment, right? Now, first, let's just say the general understanding. The word enlightenment really comes from the Age of Enlightenment, and we have a lot of ties and commonalities that we draw from when we hear the word enlightenment. And a lot of people, especially more mainstream or academia people, will kind of take it into the age of enlightenment. It will make you think of, the mystery schools, the ancient philosophers, Greek Roman times, whatever kind of flavoring your sort of education has put you around that. And those are really wonderful sources, and there's a lot of data points that you can collect from looking at their version of enlightenment. And, looking at people just like Aristotle, Socrates, Plato, Pythagoras, all of these wonderful ancient faces, I guess, archetypes of that really personify the meaning of enlightenment, to seek enlightenment. The other thing that kind of comes around with this, and this is a double-edged sword, I talk a lot about positive and negative, and the negative overlay of the matrix, and the controllers, the archons, right? We have to understand and remember that words are tools, and they have a usage in both ways. And so we also, a lot of times, will come up with terms like enlightenment, will come that reversed, more occult, more secretive, shadowy side of enlightenment, like Illuminati, right? Like all of those, like I said, the mystery schools, but the undertone flavoring of the secret society, the kind of players only, members only kind of club thing, that gets distorted and has a very negative balance, a charge, around it. That's a whole other segment of enlightenment. And sometimes when people hear enlightenment, they immediately think of that. And they see everything as a psyop. They see everything as a trick. They see everything inverted. And yeah, there's some basis to that kind of stuff. And there is wisdom within the conspiracy theorist mindset and makeup. But there's also, mind manipulation and controls mechanisms at work in that mind frame too. So we have to really just take in the data into a data set. Don't take it in biasly. Try not to feel positive or negative, good or bad about the points, about the words. We're just taking in all the words and the reference points so that we can look at the big picture. So yeah, those are two kind of main little trigger points that come up with people with enlightenment. The main meaning of enlightenment, really, when we look at it, is just to seek knowledge, right? To seek truth. And just to break it down and to get right to the point of what I will be explaining enlightenment with, is a real direct language. And I really love, and more I'm unfolding this great figurative and literal language, and drawing some parallels to them, really anchoring in esoteric, sort of intangible spirit quality information with this more 3D based, evidentiary, tangible quality of scientific thinking and understanding, and allowing the commonalities to show themselves and to find truth and connections through commonality. Not to start with the forefront preconceptions of where they should connect and how, but instead observing and allowing them to show us and to learn from that. And that's how we really could get out of the scientific corralled thinking of these predestined laws and theories are all real. And to really get out of them and to really sense the actual truths that have been hidden from us, instead of just following the breadcrumb trail of the surface level path that they sort of laid out for us. Enlightenment, right, in its base meaning, is just bringing in of more information, right, gathering in more information. So, to talk about the metaphysical sort of direct definition here, right? Information is light, pretty much. There's some really distinct nuances that we can get into metaphysically speaking, and done that in other ways, and I'm working in that in other series and stuff. But for this episode on comprehending consciousness, what I love to do is give information that all people can understand, that you don't need this real pigeonholed direct background information to grasp the concepts. But know that there is detailed background information. When you're ready, it will be available to you. You can take the learning deeper. But for here and for now, surface level, we could understand. Information is light, rides on light. And when we talk about enlightenment, right? Light in that word, right? Light is information. It is knowledge. It is wisdom. It is these little points of energy that mean something, right? And so enlightenment, right, is to bring in more light, to live your life with more light, right? When we talk about bringing in more light, bringing in more information, it becomes a lot more workable and tangible, I guess, for me especially, but hopefully for others too, to really anchor in and understand that we are a body of light. We are a light energy beings. The vessel in itself is an energy processor. And yeah, so that's, literally what we're doing by taking in information, nutrients, experience, any sort of sensory, physical data, all of these different information points, right? As we're taking them in, we're becoming more enlightened, literally. Conversely, you're becoming more shadowed, you're becoming more distorted. When you live in a negative orientation and you take in more data points, they aren't coming through your center channel, through your higher channels and into your heart center and seeking truth and finding truth. Instead, they're being drawn in and being pushed to where they need to go. And they don't actually honor truth, that's the issue. And when the information doesn't honor truth, it's not light, it's shadow, right? It's light bent in a certain way to create a presentation of a shadow. And I'm going to get a lot more into this in a separate series. If this kind of stuff, that metaphysical information is really interesting to you and exciting to you like it is to me, I'm going to get into this a little bit further and do exploration on your own time, because you will find great workings when we start drawing parallels between physical light and how light and shadow works out there in the world, and versus or in comparison to your light and shadow within yourself, and how you process information, energy, emotions, frequencies. All of those are versions of light, different types of light, energy, information, right? So we have two options of growth available, or really we have two options available, which is growth and movement, or stagnation and coagulation, coming together and a solidifying of things, a staying as is, a preservation, right? Ascension or preservation, basically. And so we have two different types of enlightenment available to us. We have true, honest enlightenment, which draws in honest light as on a full spectrum, that you are as unbiased in taking in information as possible, right? If you think of your mind like a window pane, right? And we think of energy and information and data and emotions, all of these different things that come in as light beams coming through our pain, right? It is enlightening us. It is lighting us up. If your pain is really dirty and grimy, and you have done no shadow and light work whatsoever, no energy alchemy, you're not doing wax on, wax off. You're just letting everything kind of build and stagnate. The light that comes through is not going to be as clean and as clear, it's going to be, not coming through as translucent. It's going to be a little bit more opaque, a little harder to see through, right? And that is a metaphor, but that is a real working. See, this is the thing. This is the beauty of it. When you start to understand you're kind of like a prism in yourself, your 3D body works in reflections, like a beautiful prism. Information rides through you like light, and depending on whether it's positively aligned with unconditional love and acceptance and fluidity and flexibility, or otherwise, it can be tainted with stagnation and fear, worries, survival kind of things if you're more negatively aligned and your window pane is very dirty. So you'd be collecting more shadow inside you. As light comes through, no matter what beautiful sunshine is shining outside, through that grimy window, it's still going to allow for shadow to just infest and collect inside there. And the metaphor works both ways, because when we're speaking on enlightenment, when we are actually focusing on truth, unconditional love, acceptance, we're doing energy alchemy, we have clean prism to collect light in, and we're becoming more enlightened, right? You see more clearly. Inside of this, inside of you, inside of your vessel, is bringing in clearer light and shining into corners, and allowing good space for any type of shadow collection that's happening to really showcase itself, and to allow for deeper working, to be seen in the light, right? And that's really what happens when we bring in more information. When you allow yourself to see your life on a spectrum, and to see all of your interactions and your desires and wants and needs also on a spectrum as well, it creates more room in your inner vessel, and you're doing more cleaning work, on all these panes of glass that make up you, the prism of you. And to be seeking enlightenment is to do that honest cleaning, that wax on, wax off work. When you see a cobweb being caught up in the corner there, you don't ignore it. You go and clean it out. When you notice there's, some fogginess or some kind of distortion on the window pane, you go and wax on, wax off. You go and you see what it is, what the smudge, the smear is, and you seek to correct it. You seek to get rid of it, smooth it out. To see what it needs, that's the work of enlightenment, to keep your pane as clean as you can, and to draw in as much light as you can. And as you get more and more bits of information and knowledge, they work inside of you, and those knowledge points, become stronger and honed and sculpted, so to speak, and then they become wisdom. And then you are full of, this better quality of light inside of you, better atmosphere inside of you, and you're really on the path of enlightenment. This inner working shines out, and when you shine your light out and interact out in the world through a clearer pane, others see that light clearer, they feel it, and this is why enlightenment has this pure quality to it. It has this sort of potential sort of guru archetype, or savior, or hierophant, or I'm trying to think of different kind of, like shaman, medical medicine people, this sort of all-knowingness, higher sight, higher understanding. That really is sort of the pinnacle of enlightenment. When we hear enlightenment, you think of the enlightened being, you think of the Buddha, the Christ consciousness, those who have come out of sort of the constructs of humanity, maybe the karmatic ties. You can think of samadhi if you like. There's so many different representations of it, of what it is to be enlightened and who is enlightened. But with that comes great distortion, because we sort of get wrapped up in the archetype or the picture, the presentation of the enlightened one. And that's when the misconceptions and distortions come in, because we want to copy them. We want to do what they're doing to be enlightened as well, because we see the repercussions, we feel the clarity around them, we feel the connection or the spirit or the peace, the calmness. There's many different things that come with the clean light, depending on what your flavor and your choice and your purpose is, your beautiful role, your higher self's great role in getting to where you're going, which is being enlightened, right? But each one of us has our own beautiful version of light to shine and to be. We each are a mosaic piece of a whole tiled image of the infinite intelligence that is Source, Creator. So each one of us has our own light frequency. We're meant to enlighten, to grow greater, to make brighter, and to be a part and shine that in that beautiful sort of stained glass window that we could envision as the creator of all, the whole universe as a whole, right? So yeah, we get wrapped up in another person's tile and think our tile has to look like that and to be enlightened. But that's not the case whatsoever. We do the inner work, and when you're honest with yourself, your work's shown to you. There's nobody else around there that guides you through this. There's no other that you will follow step by step, same steps as them, because you're not going to the same place as them. Just like you don't grip the world in the same way. You don't see the world in the same as any other. No person has walked up to the present moment through every situation and scenario that you have. Even your best friend, even your parents, even your partner, your children, anyone you spend a whole day with, in any variety. They have come to that day differently than you. They see their world through their eyes and their heart and their minds and their light, their specific frequency, right? So enlightenment is a single thing, but it's individual to each of us. And you can't get on a path of enlightenment. You can't become enlightened by following any other suit. You have to find your own frequency within you and build that light. Become brighter. Shine your light more clearer. Find your truths. Find your shadows. Find your faults. Find your strengths. Honestly as you can. And that's how you become enlightened. That's what true enlightenment is. Seeking your truth, your light, and never shying from shadow. Never being scared of what kind of shadows can be created. Because you know in the depths of your heart that any shadow that's created is your light bent. You have chosen to bend it. You have chosen to distort it in a way to create directionality and a perspective and to force things to be seen in a certain way. For a reason. For some reason. So find the reason. Don't get wrapped up in the puppet show, and don't get wrapped up in the actors and whatever. Know that you've been put in the audience to see the puppet show for a reason, and to go and understand why it is you're putting on this show. And that's where real enlightenment comes from too. That's how you lighten your shadows. That's how you offer wonderful service to shadow. That's how we heal internally, and we shine brighter light. And by shining brighter light and doing inner work to heal ourselves, we guide others in the external world after. So yes, I'm going to wrap it up there on this Connecting Consciousness episode on enlightenment. I hope that if you found yourself a bit tagged up in these sort of 2D representations, sort of encyclopedia references and bibliographies on enlightened ones and all of these things. If you find yourself really tagged into those and trying to anchor your own enlightenment into them, I hope that you will sort of peel back those connections that you're plugging in and take it inwards and look for your own version of enlightenment. Yes, we use those as reference points and guiding, but know that not everything is meant for you, and the things that are will sound inside of you. And the things that are not meant for you, you are meant to learn to let go and pass by. And learning that practice of what's right for you and what is not, that's the foundation of enlightenment. That's where the juice is at. You know, that's the push-ups and the sit-ups of working out and getting fit. You know, anybody and everybody can do it at home. You need no extra equipment. You need no guidance. You need nothing but your own body and to listen to it and to allow it to do the work that it's capable of. You know, if you have to start on your knees and just do 2 or 3 a day, do it until you can do 10 a day on your knees. And one day you'll get there where you could put your knees up and do a couple on your own, you know? But take enlightenment, take your path and your journey to truth and your truth like that. And you'll find the keys and the doors. You'll find those bits of enlightenment that are meant for you. So thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this video here today, Comprehending Consciousness. You can always find me directly on my website, amariespeaks.com, where not only do I have my personal information and contact in my projects, but also a plethora of free information and third-party resources on all things introspection, spirituality, and happiness. So I hope you'll check those out, maybe find anything over there that you're curious about. You can always find me on YouTube and BitChute, Spotify, and Telegram, A. Marie Speaks, on all platforms. Thank you so much for witnessing my journey and for taking time out to watch this video. I will talk to you next time.